Fierce ladies, welcome to the Moms in Real Estate podcast, where we unleash our unapologetic power to share the raw truth of our journeys. Brace yourself for a dose of empowerment, education, and encouragement like never before. I'm Kristen, a relentless entrepreneur obsessed with connecting and uplifting fellow boss babes. In this podcast, we're all about getting down to business, conquering motherhood, nurturing relationships, and so much more. Get ready to dive into the nitty-gritty, embrace the hustle, and unravel the secrets of success in the world of real estate. We're here to ignite your fire, equip you with the knowledge, and unleash your limitless potential. Tune in as we redefine what it means to be a true boss babe. Welcome back to Moms in Real Estate. I'm Kristen Cantrell, your host, and I am here with Leah Behr from Colorado Springs today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Is this your first podcast?
No,
no,
it's not. No.
Okay, well then we have an expert on, which I'm
not that either.
Well, I love this because this podcast is full of connections over the last decade, and what's cool is I have a friend, Tina Marie, who you guys have heard on the podcast. If you're in the Facebook group, you definitely see Tina. And she connected us because you guys had met at an event and told me I have to have you on here. So Here we are.
Yep, we are. She's actually one of my dear friends. Her and another girl, Vicky. You had Vicky on the podcast.
Vicky was on a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, they're my business besties. I mean, we were actually voice memoing before I came here, and that's pretty much our rhythm every day.
Yes. Okay, so before we dive into, like, your story, I think that's important. Like, you guys should have business besties in real estate. So don't you feel like that's probably been such a game changer when you got them?
Yeah, because I think it's honestly really hard to understand what real estate is like for most business people, business women. It is such a different beast. Mm-hmm. And honestly, over the past, I would say it's been 3 months that we've been really kind of in the trenches together.
Yeah.
And there's times where I'm like, guys, like, this situation is happening. Help me process it. How could I be better in this? And they're like, yeah, I can understand that. Or, girl, those people are tripping. Don't own that. And it's just so nice to have people that really understand and can encourage you. Also, we're sharing tips and tricks and tactics. But it's also just really that support of people that get it and have been there that, like I said, it's hard to understand unless you're in real estate.
Yeah, and in case you're like, how do I even go about getting that? You guys met at an event, right?
So there was a relationship formed through a coaching program, and just kind of being in each other's in the same Facebook group,
an ecosystem,
exactly. And so Vicky and I connected through that, and Tina as well. Tina had referred me someone, so we kind of started talking in that way. Vicky and I kind of attached and started masterminding together loosely, and then we ended up rooming at this conference together, and we found out Tina was going to be there, and we all kind of connected, and then that's really where the deep friendship formed.
Yeah, and I think the message here is just like put yourself out there when you're in these rooms with like-minded people and see if there's something there where you can do something like they've done, because it is a game changer, and I just think it's so awesome to watch people doing, because I think that's needed in our industry.
Yeah, and even just, you know, we're in these Facebook groups and understanding who the people are that are in that you might want to, that are like-minded, that you might want to glean from, that you might want to collaborate with and mastermind with. It's just been so life-giving, just on a personal level, but also on a business level, because we're all learning different things, and there's no competition. We can help and contribute to each other, and it's just really fruitful.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's go backwards. You started in real estate 12 years ago. Tell us why you decided to get into real estate.
So I actually started in the real estate industry before then. I've been licensed for 12 years.
Okay.
But I pretty much right out of high school, 18 years old, got into mortgage loans because my mom was a loan officer. Mm-hmm. And then 2008 happened, and it was time to regroup.
Yeah.
I lived in California then, moved to Colorado, followed my parents out there actually, and got my foot in the door at the real estate brokerage that I'm still at today, 16 years later. So I was a part-time assistant, TC, front desk gal. I mean, literally, I have worked real estate every corner and nook and cranny that there is.
Yeah.
And 12 years ago is when I got licensed. And so I've been doing that ever since.
Was it hard to go from being on staff to taking the leap of faith and going into full commission?
No, because it was always the goal and just what the trajectory was. So, I mean, it's just kind of, I wanted to learn from the ground up and get my foot in the door. And to me, it's kind of, It's really important to feel confident in what I'm doing. And I think that comes with really learning at a base level.
Yeah.
And so that for me just seemed like the path.
It's a great path because even I think it's Dutch Brothers. Before you can open a Dutch Brothers, you have to actually be a barista. Mm-hmm. And I think it's like a full year they make you do. Mm-hmm. And I really think that's a great path too. And I think a lot of our listeners are thinking about getting into real estate and might be thinking like, what is this path? And I know a lot of people that are getting into real estate that have young kids are thinking like, should I be a transaction coordinator? Should I do assistant work before I take the full leap into sales?
And I think that it is really beneficial. I think a lot of people get into real estate and get their license and immediately hire a TC. And that's great if that works for you. But I think a lot of people really do miss out on the transactional side of things and the importance of those tasks, and maybe not even really fully understanding how to explain a deadline to their client because they've had somebody handle that for so long. So it's almost just autopilot. And to me, I know that I know the contract. I know that I know everything about it and how to navigate it because I've done it all for so long.
Yeah. We were literally our previous episode, we were talking about the importance of knowing your contract and how many agents don't know the contract. Was that something that you like feel like that was so important to you from the get-go?
Yeah, and it just goes back to what I was saying about just feeling like in order for me to have confidence in something, I need to know it well. Yeah. And so being an assistant, knowing how to market, being the TC and knowing all of the contractual deadlines and tracking all of that, it just gives me the confidence to be able to perform at a higher level.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so where did your husband come in? Because he's in real estate with you today, and you were in real estate since you were 19.
Yeah, so the company that I work at is actually a boutique independent brokerage in Colorado Springs, and it's the top brokerage there. His father-in-law is one of the owners of the company. So he came back from college, was conveniently sat, 10 feet from me, and we got together, and I became Behr and joined their team.
That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. I love that. Yeah. So what's the dynamic between you guys and your business? Are you guys, just what are both your roles, and how does that look?
Yeah. So we're a family team of 5. So I actually work with my in-laws as well. Okay. It's his dad and mom. His brother joined us about 5 years ago, and then the 2 of us. And there's been a little bit of a restructuring in the past year or 2 because my husband and I have gotten so busy, which I think we'll talk about in a little bit, that the previous team structure didn't really work anymore. When we joined, it was all about kind of this long-term longevity plan of inheriting the business, taking it over, and really building into it as a family system. And that looked a lot like support for many years, and how we could, grow. My in-laws were bringing in so much business. It was really about managing that and helping improve that and grow that, make it better, all of that. But, when the market turned 3 years ago, it was a totally different story. And I was like, okay, I have to buckle down and figure out how we're going to make this work for us and bring in our lion's share of the business too, know? And so with that, I really went heavy into social media and used that as a lead generation source. And that has completely transformed my business. So at this point, where things were more supportive and kind of nurturing their business at one point, now it's, we're all kind of running, mini businesses and trying to make it work together. So.
Yeah. Okay. And so you said 3 years ago, that's when you decided to go all in on social media. Mm-hmm. What changes do you feel like you made that you really saw success with? And how long, 2 questions, how long do you feel like it took where you're like, I'm going all in on this before you actually got your first social media lead?
Yeah, so I had always been very comfortable on social media. I had a lifestyle and fashion blog for a long time, and so I would always share on social media, right? It was when I understood that I needed to go all in on sharing real estate content that everything changed for me. And, sometimes people can be really just sporadic with what they're posting and think that you can post everything. And what I learned is, no, you have to be really specific with what you are posting and speaking to a particular customer and showing up as the professional as well. And people not getting confused about why is she posting an outfit one day or why, that sort of thing, just being really clear that you are the professional and showing up in that way. And so I think it was probably August of 2023, somewhere around that time. that I just went all in, and I started sharing strictly real estate content. I don't even think it was really hyper local at the time, which is definitely a huge part of what I share now. But, tips and just information and that sort of thing, and just aligning myself as the professional. And then I would say within 6 months, I was receiving 2 DMs per week and really lucrative deals through social media.
Yeah, that's great. What is maybe a couple pieces of content that you can think of where like those were great lead generators?
Yeah, I think as we approach any new season, like I remember in like end of May, I posted that it was patio season in Colorado Springs, and here's the best patios to have happy hour at. That got 150,000 views easily and generated tons of followers. But I always say virality does not equal conversion.
Yeah.
And I really believe that because consistently, I would say I only get about 2,000 to 3,000 views, maybe 5,000. And it still converts,
Yeah.
You can go viral. And I actually know of somebody that I've tracked, and they go mega viral, millions of followers. Millions of views all the time. And their conversion rates are pretty low. So it doesn't translate in the same way. And I think for me, my secret sauce on social media is that I am showing up as a professional. So yes, I share hyper local content and things to do because you have to be relevant. Nobody wants to see real estate all the time, but you're also going to know that I'm a professional and I know what I'm doing when you look at my feed.
Yeah, I love that. And then what about, are you intentional with the direct messages? This is a part people miss out on all the time.
Yeah, I would love to say all the time that I am. There's kind of an ebb and flow in that, but it's something I have been playing with. And when somebody follows me, trying to DM them immediately and being like, thanks so much for the follow. Can I ask if you are following me because of real estate content or hyper local content? And at least that just gets an engagement.
Yeah.
That way you're showing up in their feed more. They might not always answer. Sometimes if I know, like I had a post go viral and they're probably just following me for Colorado Springs content, I don't always do that. I don't know. It's kind of a figuring out, but it's something that I'm working on and is a work in progress for sure.
Yeah, something that's helped me is I time block 15 minutes a day to go in and see who's followed me, and then I'll go to their profile and I'll find a reason to connect with them. So it might be that they went to ASU or that they also like whatever it is, and I'll message them and be like, thanks so much for connecting. I see that X, and then I just ask them a question. And it allows them to think like, okay, I'm going to engage with this person. And it's not, because there's nothing worse than when someone follows you and then they all of a sudden like throw up what they do on you. Like, that's not the point. We're just here to connect. And I love that you asked them, like, are you here for this or for this? Because then it just really helps you gauge too, like, who are the people that are coming to follow me?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you have a lot of people that are messaging you on social media that are moving from another state to Colorado Springs?
Yes, and that was really what I tried to niche down on. I would say last year at this point, it's a little bit more broad. It's just playing around with things, right? I think last year, the hot thing on social media was you have to be speaking to one person. If you're speaking to everybody, you're speaking to nobody. And then that philosophy's kind of changed a little bit. But recently, I'm actually going back to that philosophy because I do think there is truth in it. And I think, especially on Instagram or any social media platform like YouTube, people are looking on social media before they are moving there. So to say, I'm an expert in relocation, you're speaking to someone's fear, you're speaking directly to them, and they're going to reach out to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And just think of, I buy all kinds of stuff off Instagram and I hire people from Instagram, and
I have so many friends from Instagram.
So many friends from Instagram. Sometimes I'm like, wait, where do we meet? Of course we met on Instagram.
Yes, I have that. So many people ask me, where did you meet? And my response is Instagram, and they're shocked by it. But really, there's just so many organic relationships that have formed through that platform, including business relationships.
Yes, I went to a real estate conference last week, and so we're in Orlando. Everyone's from all over the United States, and there was so many moments where I'd run into someone, and I'm like filing through my head, like, who is this from Instagram? Because, when you meet somebody in real life versus online. But it's so fun because I feel like some of my most amazing friendships have actually come from social media.
Yeah, because I think you're getting a peek into people's lives, and sure, some of it is a highlight reel, but I think if you're showing up authentically online, then people see that and recognize that and connect with that. It's the same reason that I think that some of my best leads in real estate come from Instagram. You know, you've already interviewed me before you've even reached out, if you are reaching out.
Yeah.
And so it's just so natural when we start working together.
Hi, it's Barbara from Your Tax Coach, and today's tax tip is all about your home office. I still hear all the time that people think a home office deduction is a red flag, and that's just not true. I also see time and time again that your accountant is taking the wrong home office deduction. So you're gonna start taking the actual home office deductions, which means you're going to take a percentage of the business use of your house, and you get to take your mortgage interest, property tax, insurance, every single utility, your internet bill, cell phone bill, pest control, HOA, cleaning person, pool person, and you get to deduct some of it. And pro tip, try to make your business square footage even more. So can you attribute a bathroom to your business? That could increase the square footage. Or probably a lot of you keep your for sale signs in your garage or in a closet. So make sure you're also adding in your garage square footage or storage square footage. For more tax tips and tricks, follow us along at yourtaxcoach.com.
Well, and one thing you find too, if you're consistently doing social media, it's like all of a sudden like that like and trust, but they're following you and they're watching. And it could be like years before they ever reach out to you.
Yeah, and that's usually a lot of the story. You know, pretty rarely it's, hey, I just started following you, or I can tell they just started following me and reached out. That is definitely, you know, the outlier of the situation.
Yeah.
The norm is, hey, I've been watching you for so long. I love who you are and what you're about. I'm connecting with the fact that you have a 3-year-old. You know, whatever it is, they're connecting and reaching out.
Yeah.
And I find that, you know, I get pretty high-end deals from Instagram. I've had I would say a handful of multi-million-dollar deals come to me through Instagram, which isn't, you know, our luxury market is 800 plus. So $2 million deal is a pretty big deal in my market. And I would just go back to saying that I attribute that to showing up as a professional and not being silly or jokey. And that's not to say I don't show my personality on stories.
Yeah.
That's the place for showing your personality.
I was just going to ask you that because I think people are confused with how to show up. Like, I think what you're saying is like when you go to your profile and I'm scanning like your bio and your actual content on your feed, it shows to me that you're the professional and the local expert. It's not the place that you're doing anything else, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think people get confused with, there's a lot of accounts that have success with being funny, for example.
Yeah.
That's not me.
Yeah.
And I found that anytime I try to branch out from who I am, which to me, it's very important to show up professionally on Instagram, it's just not me. It doesn't translate well. It's not authentic. So even if it goes viral, it's not attracting my ideal client, right?
Yeah.
And so, yes, of course, when you look at my feed, I want you to know that I know what I'm doing. I am a serious professional. I'm going to take care of you. And I think that's why it translates to a higher end demographic, for one. But yeah, people want to see things to do as well, and that's just good content to have. And I've had plenty of people tell me I was just looking for something to do in Colorado Springs before I even knew that I was moving there and found you. So yeah, there's a little bit of both, but I think you just have to keep it professional and show your personality on your stories because that's where people are going to learn like who you are.
Yeah.
But the first interview is looking at your feed.
Yes. I love that. That is, and then we have another question. So me. Okay, so with social media, do you have your personal branded page and a real estate page, or do you just have one page? Because this is something that everyone struggles with too.
Yeah. So for the longest time, I've had just the one page. It's my personal. It's what I had my lifestyle blog off of initially, and I run everything off of there. I have wondered for the longest time if the algorithm is confused by me. In fact, that's been confirmed by Meta. I had a conversation with them that it is confused by me because I was doing this one thing for so long and then pivoted and am sharing really two topics at this point, hyperlocal and real estate, which they don't really deem to be the same thing. So I have toyed around with having just a Colorado Springs Insider page. It's Colorado Springs Insider is what I call it. And that's kind of a new baby that I'm playing with because lot of people are going to one hyperlocal page that's tying them back to a real estate page.
Yeah.
So it's something that I'm currently experimenting with, to be honest, and it's very fresh and very new. I know plenty of people out there have had success with that, but that whole debate and kind of what is going on in my mind goes back to my point earlier about when you look at my page, I want you to know that I'm the professional.
Yep.
So I think in order to attract my ideal client, I'm really feeling like it's still the one page and tying it to that. But, you know, it doesn't hurt to try things.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to try things. And I really think you'll get different answers from different people. I hear all the time from professionals not to have multiple pages, but to me, it makes complete sense to have my personal branded page and then have my business pages like a magazine. So I can really have my personality come out on my brand page, and then my business pages is like where it's going in, and you can tell exactly what we do and who we are. But everybody's answer is different. And I think that sometimes it can work both ways. And so I think really just figuring out what works for you. I always am amazed because no matter what room I'm in, whatever mastermind, whatever round table, whatever it is, there are still people that struggle so much with social media, and they're just so scared to put themselves out there. And in the beginning, when you started, you said you've always been comfortable. Was it like you're totally comfortable with doing videos, or if somebody's struggling with videos, can you think of like when it might have not been so comfortable where you could give them some advice?
Absolutely. Even though I've always been comfortable on social media, I will tell you, the first time I posted about real estate, I was terrified. And it's so silly. It's just that imposter syndrome because, of course, I'm an expert in this field. I've been in it a very long time. And I would see people on social media that were very fresh in the business showing up and presenting themselves as the experts and crushing it. Kudos to them.
Yeah.
But I thought, why am I not doing this? You know?
Yeah.
And it was just that imposter syndrome of feeling like someone would maybe challenge what I was saying, or just, I don't know, feeling insecurity, just that self-work that you have to get over. And what I would say to somebody working through that is just do it, because it's completely changed my life. You know, I was averaging 9 million a year 3 years ago. In the first year of sharing content on Instagram targeted to real estate, I closed out 17.5 million. And then this year I'm on track to close out 30.
Yeah. Dang, guys, that's awesome.
I would honestly attribute it so much to social media.
Yeah.
And that's not just the direct lead. It's also that intangible of just being in the flow. I mean, it was such a grace to me as I had a new baby that I could be at the park with my child and be posting on social media and not feel like I had to be at every community event or doing all the things and still be in people's faces every single day while I'm raising a young child.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so you guys listen to that. That is so impressive that you've done that. And it's funny because I feel like no matter who you talk to, they all have that same answer, where the first time you do it, you feel terrible. Like it does, it sucks. But just like it sucks going to the gym when you haven't gone to the gym like ever, right? So all of a sudden it gets easier and easier and easier as you do that.
Yeah, and that's such a great point, because it is that mental exercise that initially you are really racking your brain of, okay, what do I post today? What am I going to say? You know, Googling ideas, and it does take time and practice. And now it's such second nature. It doesn't take me really any time to think about a topic to post. And I post 5 times a week.
And there's probably still times where you're like, man, is this like, this video might not be good. Should I post it? And then you're like, whatever, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
And like, whatever, if it flops, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're still getting out there, and it's an exercise, and you'll get better and improve. You'll see what works and doesn't work.
Yeah. I love all of this. So tell us, like, what about work-life balance? We always say like that is definitely something that I think is complete crap. I think it's more of like sometimes it's like a flow, right? And so what's been maybe some tips that you can give our audience that have kids that are struggling with like the mom guilt and having to run their business and also be home, being mom, being wife, all the things?
I think it's such a gift that we get to have careers that allow us to be with our children. And it gets me like kind of weepy, honestly. Because it is hard, there is that guilt of, oh, I'm on my phone when my child's around. But then there's also the reality of that I get to be with my child right now because I'm on my phone. And so I think just understanding where both those roles kind of coexist. And to me, I've noticed I post in the morning, usually first thing, and I've noticed that takes away time from my daughter, but that's also the best time for me to post. So I've started scheduling that the night before after she goes to bed, because then I don't have to worry about being on my phone, at least in that early morning with her, you know, and having that hour and a half with her before the day starts, just be fully present and not frustrated because I'm trying to get a post out or whatever. So I think it's just finding those rhythms that work for you and that time that you can carve out. And there are times I'm gonna have to be on my phone. It's just the reality of the job, but just really paying attention to when you can be present and showing up fully.
Yes, I love that advice. Okay, so as you've grown in your business over the last handful of years and grown a lot each year, what are some systems that you've put in place that you're so thankful for?
Yeah. So as I mentioned to you, my role a lot was support when I was working, I am working with the family team still, but for many years, that's really what it looked like. And so leveraging out and getting a transaction coordinator as we grew was huge. I can't recommend that, and finding a good one enough. I just know that everything is managed fully by her, and that's such a relief. Also, just a killer follow-up system. I felt like for so many years, I really didn't have a strategy or a follow-up system, and it was kind of haphazard and just happening.
Yep. And
Ryan Serhant's book actually is what changed that for me. He really put them into buckets for me and just had, his cold leads he'd follow up with once a quarter, I think. And at least this is my system. Cold leads that are like, they're not going to buy for probably 6 months to a year or longer. I have them on a once a quarter follow-up.
Okay.
And if you're going to buy within 3 to 6 months, I'm talking to you every 3 weeks. If you're going to buy under 3 months, I'm talking to you once a week. And so just really like having that list and make sure I'm touching everybody. And also following up with all your past clients and having just a really solid follow-up system there where you're just periodically checking in and texting them and saying, hey, how are you? How's the family? And just, it's not awkward. It's just like natural to reach out. I mean, you were in these people's lives so intimately for so long. It's kind of weird that we don't stay connected. So just understanding that that's really critical, and it's really improved my business and my systems.
Yeah. Do you feel like, I know you mentioned you were part of a coaching program. Do you regularly have coaches, and or do you regularly put yourself in the rooms for growing?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in a coaching program there's like 500 women in this program for, I think, 2 years now, and that's really changed my business. I mean, I've learned a lot of systems through that, and just, it's like we were talking about earlier with having the business besties. It's just always taking the time to learn and grow and improve. It's really the same vein for me in terms of coaching. Right now, I'm focusing on more like mindset coaching, because I feel like I'm at the level where I do have a lot of business and I'm happy with that business. And I think I need to work on some mindset to kind of take it to the next level.
Yeah. That's so cool. I literally just pulled the trigger on a coaching program yesterday, and I'm so excited because it's anything from tax strategy. I have a tax strategist, a marketing coach, nervous system coach, which is actually the one I'm most excited about, a marriage coach, and a messaging coach. So it's called The Council, and I'm like, I get all of them. So I'm so excited about this.
I'm like salivating at the mouth. I'm like, tell me more.
I know. So, and it's like 2 of the girls have already been coaches in my life over the years. And so I'm just so excited about it, because I'm like, when you're getting coached on one thing and it's all business, it's great, right? You're going to really expand there. But I'm just so excited because it all, like, when I'm a mess with my nervous system, it's going to go into my business. So I'm just really excited to have all the different components in it.
Absolutely. And I think that's what I was speaking to a little bit with the mindset thing. It's like, in order to take it to the next level, you always have to do the inner work. And part of that inner work for me right now, honestly, has been really taking time to slow down. Because I'm at the level that I am right now, it's really hard to carve out that time to slow down. And I've been going at 100 for so long. And now it's like I'm getting a little bit of a pullback, not much, thankfully, but enough where I'm like feeling a little bit of guilt that like, oh, I'm not working 24/7 and pouring into the business 24/7. But for me, that's just like the inner work of like, no, rest is important too. And getting things in order, maybe at your home, or getting other systems in order so that you can produce at a higher level when things do start to speed up is something I'm really working on. And I think it's just that like feeling inside that you always have to be doing, always have to be achieving, that I'm working through right now, and just trying to be like, no, I'm a human being, not a human doing. And I matter too.
That's so important. And I can tell you so many women have been on this podcast that have said stuff like that. And that's where I've been the last couple of years. It's like, we're in such a hustle culture industry that it's like we grind, and then we're just burnt out. And I talk to so many people burnt out all the time, but it's like, we don't need to be hustle culture all the time. Like, we already did that. Like, we planted those seeds. Like, now it's harvest time. And I feel like enjoying that and being able to be present and be home and have leverage so that you're not working yourself into the ground is so important.
Absolutely. And I'm looking at every opportunity to leverage right now. Like, seriously. I mean, I have part-time childcare. I always have. I've only had about 23 hours worth of childcare. And luckily, my husband and I work together, so we can juggle my daughter. But it's difficult, you know. It's not easy I would love to, on my business side, would love to have more childcare. And my mom's side says, no, I want to be with my daughter, you know. And so it's just that tension. But really looking at, okay, in spring, do I get a house manager and outsource that so that I'm not, you know, going crazy and can have time with my daughter? I mean, I know a woman that's a stay-at-home mom that has a full-time nanny that takes care of the home so she can do things with her daughter. So it's like, why wouldn't we as businesswomen look into that sort of thing, you know?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, these are precious years. And I will tell you, the one leverage that I'm very excited about is I haven't done laundry in 8 months.
That is so good. You have a laundry person.
I do, and it's actually pretty affordable. And it's like, I don't know, you just got to find the little tweaks that you can do.
It's so true. Yeah, I think that people get, and I mean, I think that it's like, oh, I can do it the best. Like, I don't want to let go of this. And I was like that for a long time. But the more I've let go, the better everything's been.
It's so true, because you know what? Like, yes, you're good at it, and it's what has gotten you to a certain point. But it's also understanding when it's time to let go of certain things that you can grow into more.
Yes.
And doing, you know, income generating activities is really a lot more important than me managing a transaction, right?
Yeah, all day long. When there's probably someone who's better at managing the transaction.
100%.
So, okay, we've had so much fun today, and I just want to know one last question before we wrap this up is, if you had to go into business with a celebrity and or an influencer, who would it be?
Ooh. Oh my gosh, what is her last name? It's Emma. Oh my gosh, she's the one that's like the CEO of Skims. I'm gonna mess up her last name right now, but I am so inspired by this woman.
Literally, it was just said on the last podcast. I've never heard.
Really?
I've never had anybody answer.
Do you remember her last name? Because I can't.
Well, she has a podcast, and now it's like, it's not ever something. But it's no. What is it?
I should have come better prepared. But
it's okay. We know she's the founder of Skims and Great American or Good American. Yeah.
She is so inspiring. I really only found out about her about 6 months ago, but it was when she launched her podcast. She was on another podcast that I listened to. And I just feel like she's so uplifting and positive, and obviously a boss. And I think, to just be in her company would be amazing.
Well, if you're binging Moms in Real Estate, apparently we all have to listen to this podcast because the last 2 guests have said this. So that's like literally what I'm going to do.
So we'll get it to you in the show notes.
Yeah, we'll get it to you in the show notes, and I'm going to get in my car and download this podcast.
Yeah, she's really inspiring.
Okay, and if people want to follow you on social media,
Leah_Behr.
And what's your new Instagram?
Colorado Springs Insider.
Yes, I love that. I mean, I really like just the ring of it too. Sounds like it'd be a great page to follow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, friend, for listening to the podcast. We love having you in our community. If you enjoyed our podcast, please leave us a review or share it with a friend. Also, we'd love to connect with you on Instagram. Go follow us at Moms in Real Estate.